What is up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a happy Friday. Welcome to 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. I'm your host, Bashar. Pleased to be here. Happy to be here. Of course, to see some people already in the chat. Apologize for the delay. No biggie, though. See you guys here. John V from Locker Room Rant is here. Says Bash and Rohan have a great collaboration. We got Laura's in here. She said she just got home. Have a great show. Appreciate you. Niner Sickness Podcast, Beto. Check him out on YouTube, Niner Sickness Podcast. And let's bring on our guest from 49er Web Zone, none under the most busiest youngster I know in the game, the most up-and-coming person out there, in my opinion, and very knowledgeable, great guy. I ran into this guy on Twitter last year, and we just became buddies, and we just had a great time talking football. And pleasure to have you on again, Rohan. How you doing? Unmute yourself, bro.
There we go. Hey, man, I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me on. I mean, like you said, I mean, we met in the Spaces last year. Spaces is always turn in the night, and glad to be back on the show, and hope it's a good one today.
Oh yeah. Spaces they're a whole different planet for those of you who've never been on Twitter, and sometimes you gotta bring your A game when you get on Spaces. I haven't been on there. I'm not on there as much as I used to, but every now and then it's good to see some old faces and talk 49er football. And we got Warriors basketball playoffs coming up. Tommy Hucks is here. He says he hates mock drafts. This might not be the show for you, but we are going to talk some regular Niners stuff before we get into the mock draft. Are you over in Wisconsin now? Is that where you are right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm in college right now, so in Wisconsin at the moment.
That's cool. How do you like it compared to being over in the Bay Area? I believe you've been in the Bay Area most of your life, right?
Yeah, I mean, up until a couple of weeks ago, obviously a huge weather change. Now last few days, we're getting some really nice weather. So, I mean, I don't mind. It's a little bit, I mean, not a little bit, it's a huge change, but I'm fine with the adaptation, doing my thing, and having a good time.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been back to the Bay Area anytime, or I live in Northern California now, kind of close to Sacramento, and my relatives still live in the Bay Area, and weather was totally different up here. I mean, from December till now, we was just like rain almost every other day, and now things are finally clearing up and getting a little warmer. So it's something that we're not used to out here.
Oh yeah, I know, because I came home for a week and it was crazy. Winds were crazy. The weather was wild. My house had a power outage, I think, for a few days. Wild time when I came home. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had a power outage too, but thank God it wasn't a day or a time where I was planning on doing the stream or anything like that, because that would have sucked. All right, we got Kels Chronicles here. He was on yesterday. We did a mock draft with him. That was awesome. For those who missed it, you can always go back and check it out. Great time, always great time collabing with him, and I always appreciate all the people that I collab with in the 49er Empire community. We're blessed. We have plenty of talented, good-hearted, great people, just good people in general. It's always fun talking football and just talking about life sometimes with them.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's true. This community is huge, and it's a lot of fun people. A lot of fun people to collaborate with. Grateful to everyone who I've collaborated with. I mean, it's been a fun environment, and really grateful for everybody who's helped me along my way.
Okay, so before we get into the football talk, I want to mention a couple of things really quick, because I forgot to mention this yesterday. It's off topic, but had a record. I always wanted to see the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I had promised my nephew way back when we first saw the trailer months ago that, hey, this is because my nephew loves video games. I grew up playing Mario, and I was like, okay, we got to see this movie together, because I was mad that he saw Sonic the Hedgehog movie without me. So we made it a point to see this movie. I had a recommendation from an awesome friend to see it in 4DX. If anybody knows what 4DX technology is, and if you don't know what it is, look it up. It is the best movie watching experience I've ever had in my life. And I'm somebody who avoids the theaters. Got a huge big screen in the house, big couch or whatever. But if you have a chance to see Super Mario Brothers in 4DX with the 3D and with the 3D effects, the motorized chairs, you got fog and mist. They have scents, different kinds of smells. Water hits you in the face in certain types of water scenes. And the movie itself, in my opinion, is probably the best animated movie that I've ran across. I don't know if you've seen it, Rohan, if you plan to see it, but it's
I haven't yet.
Movie I recommend.
It should be a fun one, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not one who sits and watches animated movies all the time. So, but I highly recommend it, especially if you grew up as a gamer or you're a Mario fan, and should enjoy it. And one other topic before we get into the football talk. I'm a food guy. I do cook a lot of pizza, and it's not just pizza. I do a lot of barbecue stuff and just
You do a lot of barbecues, right? Yeah,
yeah,
kebabs and stuff like that.
yeah. I even know how to make some Indian food too. I'm a big fan of Indian food. It might be my favorite cuisine overall. Actually, I am Middle Eastern, but Indian cuisine is kind of similar, but it has its own spice and its own flavor and its own twist on things. And I just love food in general. So I'm going to try to put out a food channel called Foodie Fanatics. So that's in the works. And I wanted to ask you, Rohan, since you live in the Bay Area and now you live in Wisconsin,
Right.
tell me about the food scene out in Wisconsin. If which food scene do you prefer? Let's say.
Way different. I mean, way different in a lot of different ways. I mean, Wisconsin has surprisingly a lot of the big chain brands around where I'm on campus is actually quite there. So like you don't miss too many of those. But when you talk about the food scene, you're not talking about like the regular chains. You're talking about like authentic restaurants and things like that. And I mean, myself, I don't go out to many restaurants too much, so I haven't experienced it as much. But one thing I'll say is there's a good amount of Asian food, Chinese food on campus, which is nice. Not much Indian food. So that's the difference when I go back home. Obviously, in the Bay Area, you see just a lot of different cuisines. I think that that's just unique to any other place. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah. Bay Area, there's certain streets which is endless Indian businesses. So it's Bay Area's a different animal when it comes to that. That's for sure. What up, Bebop? I see you here. This is my dude. Good to have you here. Yeah. So the 49ers held a local pro day yesterday. So not sure what the ramifications that the NFL have are in terms of a mile radius, but I know it's basically set up for college football players who pretty much grew up in the Bay Area or ones who played their college ball in the Bay Area. And I know Jake Hayner. He's a Bay Area guy. He's from Fresno State. He was there. And do you have any takes on any of the players or any eye-catching things in terms of players they brought in yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting group of attendees. Normally, when you see the local pro day, I think last year there weren't many players, if any, drafted at all from that bunch. When you look at the bunch this year, though, I don't think that that's the case. I think there are a good amount of players that could be drafted. You talk about Jake Hader. He was an interesting guy. He is a guy who has seen a lot of buzz. His S2 score, I think, was recently revealed to be a 97, at least by sources, not by anybody not by anybody who conducted the test. But I mean, he was there. Another quarterback who's expected to be drafted, Tanner McKee, was there. A solid receiver from Stanford, Michael Wilson, was there. I mean, a lot of interesting players were there. Defensively, the one that really intrigued that I talked about with my guy Marco yesterday on our podcast was Isaiah Foskey of Notre Dame. He's probably a top 3 round pick at latest. And so that was interesting because he's from Notre Dame too. And so he's a guy who the 49ers likely don't get a chance to grab at all. But he was there. And I mean, it was interesting to see the different areas of places that people were there. Ray John Wright was there, a cornerback. Very interesting names, and I think that this is one of the more intriguing groups that they've brought to their local pro day.
Oh yeah, and I remember Larry Kruger not too long ago put out a video about Isaiah Foskey and the other cornerback. I think it's Claiborne. I always forget this guy's name. Celts Chronicles and I were talking about him yesterday. You probably know who he is, the cornerback that Kruger was talking about. But Isaiah Foskey's from De La Salle. Actually, I actually played against De La Salle when I was in high school one year, which was fun. And we all know that they're a national football powerhouse. And Kruger was so high on Isaiah Foskey. He's like, the 49ers need to trade up to get this guy. He's assuming that they'd have to trade up to the second round, possibly. And then he mentioned the cornerback. I'm not sure if you know that cornerback's name. I know Kelts is in the chat. If he's still there, you'd know. But it's a skinnier cornerback, but he's got a guy who's a ball hawk and who's able to get pick sixes. And his name totally slips my mind. But he's not a Bay Area product. But Kruger was saying that we should trade up to get him, either him or Foskey.
Okay. We'll see if he remembers the name. If you remember the college, I might be able to tell you. But we'll see if Kelt's gonna drop that name.
Yeah, if he's still in there, he remembered because Kelts was really high on him. And the NFL comp for Isaiah Foskey that Kruger was giving was Yannick Ngakoue. So I was like, okay, well, that's pretty high praises. And we got No Border Sports Ryan here. He says, Debo, that like button. Appreciate you guys. If there's newcomers to the channel or just people who search up my channel all the time and watch, because only 50% of my viewers, according to my analytical data, are actually subscribed to the channel. Show some love, hit the subscribe button. It's really easy. And Rohan, if you've never heard of him before, you have no idea who he is, I have all the descriptions in the description box of this video, I actually have all the links to his social media, his YouTube, his Twitter. He writes for 49er Web Zone.
Oh,
Definitely check that out. Oh, Forbes. Is it Malcolm Forbes?
Emmanuel
It's
Forbes.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Emmanuel
I don't know
Forbes.
why
Yeah,
I
yeah.
keep jacking this guy's name up.
I
Emmanuel
know why.
Forbes.
Yeah, Emmanuel Forbes is really intriguing. The thing that'll drop him is his size. I think he weighed in at
Yeah,
166.
he's a skinny dude.
Yeah, that's the thing that'll drop him. Emmanuel Forbes is very intriguing. I don't think he falls to 99. I don't expect it, and it'll be tough because I don't know if the 49ers were to trade up for a position. Don't know if it'd be the corner that they trade up for. But Emmanuel Forbes is certainly an intriguing guy, a guy who's even got first round hype.
Yeah, he was. Kruger was definitely saying we'd have to trade up for him. I think this draft in general is pretty deep at corner in compared to other drafts. So I don't see corner as a pressing need either. But he was kind of saying it was like a can't miss prospect. And as far as body type goes, he kind of reminds me of Merton Hanks a bit. If you remember him, obviously he's a little before time, but I'm sure you probably seen him on the Super Bowl videos and all that. And Merton Hanks was an awesome player. I love Merton Hanks, and probably I remember when he was playing, they put him at free safety. These dudes in my high school were like, can't believe he's only like 195 pounds or barely 190 pounds playing free safety. But the guy just had a nose for the football, man.
Yeah, man, ball hawk, ball hawk.
Yes, sir. We got Kels hollering out the Warriors. That's this Saturday. Tomorrow they play the Kings. Gonna be a lot of fun with the Warriors. They kind of had a little weren't too great on the road this year, but we'll see. So we already got people dropping predictions. Beto, he's a Lakers fan. He say Kings
that'll be an interesting one. That'll be an interesting one.
It is going to be, especially with Wiggins back in the mix. We missed him. Here we go. So Kel says, if I had to pick between Forbes or DeJuan Jones, I'm taking Joe. So in a dream world scenario, DeJuan Jones, if we were to trade up to get him, or if the football gods somehow had him drop down to at 99,
we're gonna have to trade up like 60 spots to at least.
Yeah, I mean he's my draft crush of this draft. Do you have one?
I bet more money that both of them are gone before we even have a chance to trade up.
Do you have a draft crush?
Oh yeah, I've got a couple, and I'm sure we'll get to it in the mock draft. I have a couple really at every position. If we're talking right tackle, my two. Me and Marco, my co-host, have the same two because those are the two that I watched really early and really liked. That's Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse. That's a guy who I look to target in mock
tackle,
drafts
right?
when I trade up. Yep, tackle.
tackle.
And then Wanya Morris at Oklahoma.
I've heard a lot about Wanya Morris.
Incidents, but I think he's a really good player. Yeah.
Do you have any in terms of pros and cons between the two players? I've heard about both guys, but I haven't watched enough film on the two to say I like one better than the other.
Yeah, I think Bergeron's a better talent. Frame wise, I think he's also a little better. He's played left tackle. He's around 6'5", 320. The one quirk people have about him is his arm length, I believe. That might be a little more suitable for guard, but he's got talent enough to be a tackle. He's got good speed for his size, or good athleticism for his size, but he's also a very powerful guy. And as for Morris is a solid player who played in an intriguing scheme where they pulled the tackles a lot. He was a right tackle at Oklahoma after transferring from Clemson, and they pulled the tackles a lot. So you see a lot of Morris in space, which coincidentally is what the 49ers like to do with their right tackles when they do that outside zone to the right side and those different runs to the right side. And so you see a little bit on tape of Morris moving in space, and he's also a fairly solid pass protector. That's something that popped out to me.
Okay. And since we're talking about the O-line, let's talk about the 49ers offensive line situation really, really quick because McGlinchey left. John Feliciano was picked up, who's played, I believe, 4 positions on the offensive line between the Buffalo Bills and New York Giants. And I wasn't really aware of this guy when we picked him up. I did watch some film. And so, of course, there's certain highlights that people pick out and you see the good plays. But I was hearing some mixed reviews from fans that, he got owned and pushed back on certain plays. But I did see some athleticism in terms of being able to pull for a big guy, 6'5", 325, I believe. And some people were saying that, hey, we brought this guy in to play. He's not going to sit there on the bench because I believe he started 15 games last year. And then there's a rumor that we may move Spencer Burford to the right tackle, or perhaps insert McKivitz. So I don't know what's your take on all that in terms of what they might do with the offensive line, assuming we don't draft a rookie tackle really high.
Yeah, and I mean, Feliciano's interesting because when you look at his contract, he got $2.25 million, fully guaranteed, fully indicating that he's going to be on this roster. And I think you can look at it multiple ways. One, The 49ers lost Daniel Brunskill, who has been their swing tackle, backup guard, their utility guy who they've had for a while, and he left to Tennessee. And so they needed somebody to fill that role. Feliciano started at center last year for the New York Giants. Was not great. Let's be honest. He was below average last year. He was in the average to below average tier last year. But he has starting experience at guard, starting experience at center, and he provides experience that a guy like Daniel Brunskill had for several years. And at his price tag, that seems fairly reasonable for the 49ers, understanding that they paid Daniel Brunskill $2.54 million on a right of refusal tender the year before. So you're paying a guy for cheaper, albeit a guy who's a little older as well. But overall, with the entirety of the offensive line, you look at the two interior spots, right? Jake Brendel at center and then Spencer Burford at right guard. Both players, I think, played all right last year, up and down moments for both. Brendel obviously earned a contract again after the 49ers struck out on a couple of free agents. Had a couple of thoughts on that, but Brendel's back. And do I think that Feliciano could compete with Brendel? I think he could provide adequate competition for sure. I don't exactly know who'd win. Brendel obviously has the more familiarity in the system, which might provide him the edge for two, in my opinion, average-ish type players at the position. As for Spencer Burford, do the 49ers provide him another year to develop into a right guard, which he obviously played this past year? I think that Feliciano could also provide some competition there. But I think at the moment, you could view him as a Daniel Brunskill-esque player unless he steps up his play. The only other question that I'll possess is it's Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's scheme, fairly favorable to offensive linemen. Feliciano could see a career rejuvenation a little bit into playing better or having better play than what his previous, obviously, resume might indicate.
That's true, and there's also I'm not sure where our offensive line coach ranks in terms, because I know people give Chris Kosaric all this praise, and I know some people praise Forrester on the offensive line. But do you have any inclination in terms of where Forrester ranks in the league as far as offensive line coaches go?
I actually kind of like Forster. I think Forster is a pretty solid offensive line coach. That's kind of my inclination of it. I mean, he was with Miami, came here after that. I think he has the trust of Kyle Shanahan. He's probably now his most trusted offensive assistant after McDaniel left and after a couple of those guys left. Maybe him and maybe now Greasy, although it's only been a year. But I think he's Kyle Shanahan's confidant on the offensive side of the ball. He was given the run game coordinator kind of role last year, and I do think that I think he's a valuable guy.
Got it. So since we're talking about offense, talking about a couple of Niners stuff before we head into this mock draft. We're gonna actually do two mock drafts, one with trades and one without. Usually we just do it with no trades and we just keep the picks. But a lot of people are speculating that we're not going to make 11 selections in this draft, and we may trade up. So it'll be fun doing it that way too. And I really appreciate Rohan coming on here and willing to do two mock drafts. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But there's been a lot of hooting and hollering every offseason for the 49ers. It seems like it's been like this, Yeah, you got Purdy who had the surgery, and Trey Lance, recent pictures and videos of him working out with Trey Lance and Jeff Christensen being the mix Mahomes and quarterback coach. And any thoughts on that in terms of the whole talk about the quarterback position with the 49ers?
I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, anytime your quarterback is working out with Patrick Mahomes and the coach that is coaching Patrick Mahomes, I think that you've got to at least view it as an added positive. I don't think there's a negative in working out with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, it's a good sign. Do I take too much from it? Not necessarily, but I'm happy for Trey Lance, and it's a good opportunity for him. As for the 49ers and their quarterback position right now, Brock Purdy, I don't expect them to practice in full this offseason at all, which likely means Trey Lance or Sam Darnold becomes the week one starter. At the moment, I give the edge to Trey Lance. More familiarity with the system. He's the guy that Kyle Shanahan is really, that was his guy. And so that's kind of where I'm going. To me, here's how it looks. Brock Purdy, leader in the clubhouse, but Trey Lance, the ball is in his court. The way that he plays ultimately dictates the way this 49ers quarterback situation goes. If he plays as he's expected in the offseason, he should beat out Sam Darnold. That means he should be the week one starter. And if he can show continued success, leading the team to wins while showing some of that potential in the first 4 weeks, I think the 49ers continue to roll with Trey Lance throughout the remainder of the season, or at least until he proves he can't play at that level. However, if he doesn't play well over the first 4 weeks, I think the 49ers would be more inclined to turn back to Brock Purdy, who obviously had a good showing last year. The 49ers have confidence in him. I think they'd be willing to go back to him. I do think it requires for him to practice at least a couple of weeks, not only for that arm strength to get back, but also, I mean, to get him back in the flow of game shape. But it depends really on, in my opinion, the way Trey Lance plays.
Yeah, exactly. The ball's definitely in his court. I mean, it's all about opportunities in the NFL. I mean, Trey Lance, obviously, they were saying, hey, Kyle Shanahan to the media, he was always saying for a long, long time in that last preseason and during training camp, Trey Lance is our starter, and he anointed him as a starter. And the unfortunate thing happened. Week 2, I was at the game. Lance got hurt, and opportunity for Jimmy G. They took him back on a cheap contract. He comes in. Jimmy G plays against the Miami Dolphins. What happens? He gets hurt. Opportunity for Brock Purdy.
Right.
Brock Purdy took the opportunity and ran with it. And the unfortunate thing again, he got hurt. It was just a crazy thing, with the cycle of QB's getting hurt, and who knows how it's going to play out. I don't think anybody knows. All these people on Twitter, they can all say that, they're trying to predict the trades getting traded, or they're trying to predict, hey, this is what's going to happen in the season. But nobody knows exactly what's going to happen or who's going to emerge as a starter when the season's all said and done.
No, I agree. I do agree. I mean, it's all up to how this offseason goes. Really, that's been the majority of the way for the 49ers and their quarterback kind of choice over the past few years.
That is true. So we do got some comments in the chat. I see people already talking about people they want to draft. Eli Ricks is mentioned. Counts as a big Eli Ricks supporter cornerback. So yeah, they did resign. As far as the trenches go, let's finish up. We were done with the quarterback talk. We did plenty of that yesterday, of course, and there's not really much else we can really touch on when it comes to that. But the 49ers did pick up Kerry Hyder again. I believe it was a 1-year contract. I believe 1.2 or 1.5 million, similar contract to what they were giving Jordan Willis. And I kind of like Jordan Willis better than Kerry Hyder in terms of the stage of his career. But, I'll trust the coaches and trust the 49ers on this one, I guess. But any thoughts on that, bringing back Kerry Hyder?
I think it's a fine move. I don't take too much into it. It's the 49ers adding bodies for the offseason. So I think Kerry Hyder's guaranteed a contract spot or a roster spot. I'm not going to say definitives until I see the contract details and the guarantee, but I'm not going to say he's guaranteed a roster spot. He's a valued veteran that they've had in their in their obviously in their rotation. Do I think he's anything too special? Not necessarily, but he's been a guy who's filled his role the last few years. Now, to me, the 49ers at edge, I think there are only 3 guys that are locked into roster spots, and that's Bosa, Drake Jackson, and Cleveland Farrell. I think they have like 3 or 4 more edge guys that they've signed. I don't think any of them are guaranteed spots. Now, D tackle, I think they have a pretty solid group, a deep group that is, where 5, 6 guys I think are really 53-man roster guys right now. And so I think that group could expand, and we still have the NFL draft. But I think, it provides for competition, just like the 49ers last year. They signed 17 defensive linemen going into their 90-man roster. And this year, they don't have to cut people too early. They might end up having 17 guys because you still have the draft and undrafted free agency. So I don't think too much about it, but it's a cool signing for a veteran.
Definitely. Let me say what's up to some people who trickled in a little later. We got Scott Hill. Welcome to the channel. Never seen before, but if you're a newcomer, hit the like button and subscribe. We appreciate you. Also, if you're not subscribed to Rohan, check out his YouTube channel. It's in the description box of this video and his Twitter as well. So welcome, Scott Hill. What up, David McNiner? He said, what's up, Bashar and Rohan? The one thing that happens is our 49ers will draft a player no one has heard of. LOL. Yeah, there's obscure players out there, but sometimes those obscure players pan out. I mean, that's how the beauty of the draft, in my opinion. Sometimes you never know, an undrafted player may pan out. Who knows? See, one other thing we got. Somebody's mentioned Buda Baker here. Buda Baker to the Niners. I know he requested a trade, but I don't think he went to the Niners. That's jumping the gun. I don't think he would you take him? Are you a big fan of him?
Would I take him? Absolutely.
Yeah,
but do
but
I
for
think
what
it
price?
happens? Not a chance. The 49ers don't pay safeties, first of all, and the reason he wants a trade isn't because he's unhappy. Well, he might be unhappy with the organization. He wants top dollar safety money. He wants the highest paid safety contract. The 49ers don't pay safeties, and I also don't think Arizona would trade him within the division. If I'm betting, I don't think Buda Baker gets traded.
Yeah, I mean, I like Hufanga. Some people find him to be questionable. He has his lapses from time to time, but I just think I think he'll get better from what we've seen already. And I love his big playability. Tyshawn Gibson. I'm glad they brought him back, but again, we're probably going to draft a safety to replace him most likely in the future, and which is fine. And I'll be perfectly fine with that. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and share my screen and get into the first mock draft. Do you want to do the first one with trades?
I'm good either way.
Okay, so let's do the first one with trades. I've never done a trade on this website, but we were messing around with it beforehand. It looks like you can make trades on this. So let me go ahead and add this to the screen, and let's get going. So here's a
Do you
trade.
know the speed of the way the draft goes?
I hit it. I selected the fastest speed is what I did.
Is there a
So
normal by any chance?
oh, you want to do normal speed? Okay.
Yeah. That
Well,
way we can go ahead. Yeah, maybe the normal one. We can go ahead and we can
okay. You want to do
see
normal speed?
the way
Okay.
that it's selected for the trade one. For the non-trade one, we'll just go fast.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna hit trade, right? Because you want to trade up, and just let me know where you want to go
I've
with
got a
this.
better idea. Let's
Go ahead.
run the draft and then we'll make a trade with the way the board goes.
Okay. So
Yeah,
so
because
just
I probably won't trade anyway, probably till pick 60, pick 70 at the earliest. So yeah, we can just run it until then and then
on
see how the
normal.
board goes.
Okay, we're running on normal.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, that's cool. Let's do that. So I'm gonna hit start and let me know when to stop. I don't know how much of the screen you can see, but it's
Good
pretty
for
much
me.
telling.
Do you mind putting the position on tackle? That's likely where
Yeah.
I
Oh
end up
yeah,
making my
definitely.
trade.
Yes, I have tackle in mind as well. DeJuan Jones is still available, so let me know when to pause it and let me know
As
when to
this
stop.
moves, put it on safety as well. I want to see
Okay, there
how
you go. I don't know if it lets me
cool.
select both.
Yeah, tackle. We can go back to that. All right.
Okay, I was trying to select
What
both.
pick
I
are we
thought there was
at
a way.
here?
I think I might have to toggle back and forth. I don't think I could do both on it though.
No, you can just leave it at tackle. That's good.
Okay. Matthew Bergeron's still available.
Are we in the third round yet, or are we still in the second?
It's hard for me to tell. I'm trying to tell where we are. I know it says Blake Freeland's still available. I see that right there. Okay, so the 49ers about to pick. Okay.
Okay.
So we're already at that pick 99. All right. So I don't know if you want to make a trade. We got a trade offer, or you want me to exit
For
out of this?
106.
Yeah,
All right.
and 162.
And then I guess you can click the one on the right arrow for the 3 trade offers.
Oh, there you go.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
105.
Arizona Cardinals.
And then what's the last one?
Washington Commanders. They're offering a whole lot.
Yeah, but it's late round picks.
Yeah, they're late, and then one pick for
2024.
224. Yeah, the fourth rounder. There you go.
All right, so we'll decide between one of the first 2.
Okay. Well, so you're gonna be John Lynch, and I'll be Adam Peters. How about that?
Oh man, I like Peters. No,
Oh,
I'm
you
kidding.
like? Well, I was thinking that John Lynch had more say. That's why I gave you John Lynch.
That makes sense.
GM. Okay, so,
let's accept the Cardinals trade. I like that one. We moved back 6 spots, and
I like it too.
We pick up 2 more picks. Yeah.
There you go. So we're gonna get pick 105 from the Cardinals and 168 and 180. So 168's in the 5th round, 180's in the 6th round, and we're gonna get him our 99th overall pick. Let's do this. So accepted the trade, and let's see who is still available. Looks like
Cool.
Tyler Steen's still available as far as overall best available players.
Wow,
we got
some safeties.
Jordan Battle,
safeties. Yeah.
Marvin Mims. Yep.
Quan Martin's there. Okay. So I think we can wait on safety because there are 3 of them. I'll wait till that 106. Jonathan Mingo's an interesting one.
He's a sexy pick. He's my guy for the sexy pick. I like big fan Jonathan Mingo fan. But if you want to go offensive tackle, Tyler Steen's available. Wanya Morris is available.
I like Morris. It seems like we can wait on Morris.
We can
just for a bit. Let's look at the safeties here. I might look to pick. All right, so there are the top 4 I really like. So I think that we could also wait on this, which means that let's look at corner because Eli Ricks was there, and Eli Ricks might be a guy that you select here at 99. Garrett Williams is also interesting from Syracuse. I know the 49ers have met with him, but I think here at 90, let's go with Eli Ricks. Or at 99,
we picked him yesterday, and we're picking him again today. Okay, there you go. They gave us an A+ for that, and they gave us 2 trade offers as well. I don't know if you want to overlook these or.
I think this is a time to pick. Let's reject these ones and let's go back to it.
Or reject these, and so we're at pick 102, best available players. Jordan Battle, safety from Alabama. Marvin Mims, I'm not familiar with him. Wide receiver from Oklahoma. Interior offensive lineman with Luke Weipler from Ohio State. Garrett Williams. If you want me to pull up any position group, I can. Mingo's still available,
Do you
of
want to go
course.
for a fun one?
Houston.
Do you want to get your guy Mingo?
I'd like to. I don't know. Are you okay with it? I don't want to.
Hell yeah, I'm okay with it because we might have to make a receiver move. So
exactly, because Ayuk may not be in our plans in the near future.
Yeah. So let's make that Mingo move. Let's select
Jonathan Mingo. To me, I see him as a poor man's. Who's the guy in the Eagles? Why am I forgetting his name? The wide receiver in the Eagles that used to be on Tennessee. Here, AJ Brown. I see him as a poor man's AJ Brown. I don't know if you like that comp, but I'm like similar to a similar
Mingo
body type
to
AJ Brown.
Mingo is good. I'll say that. And here, I think we get our we get our pick of the safeties. Let's go to safety here. But actually, Bashar, before we do that, let's make a trade because I do want to get Wanya Morris. And so
I do want to get Morris.
Before we make our next pick, let's go to the trade. Let's go to the trade part so that we can trade up to get Wanya Morris. So let's find a team who has a pick in the 120s.
A pick in the 120s. Let's do that. Maybe ATL. There, no, not them. Let's find out. Baltimore. Baltimore has a 124.
124. Yeah, that works. So let's go to them. Let's give up 155.
Okay, and what else?
Let's give up maybe 155, 164, and then 180. Let's see if this works. Or does it tell us at the bottom if it's accepted?
Yeah, it's accepted. Let's see. Yeah. So once we added the second pick, it's accepted. So we could just do 155 and 164 and we're good. So let's do that.
Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it went through. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then here is where I'm going to select a safety here because I think there's a lot of safety value here.
So best available safeties: JL Skinner, Jartavius Martin, at least on their board. Brandon Joseph, Daniel Scott, Chris Smith.
Each of the top three, I think I like here. Each of the top three. I'm going to go with Quan Martin, Jartavius Martin here out of Illinois. I think he's a good safety, and I think he'd be a good fit with the 49ers.
What do you like about him?
I like a lot of things. I think his athleticism is really nice, but he's also willing to hit. I think that's important, and I think the versatility that he'd provide, really that entire safety room. Sidney Brown's a very talented safety. He'll probably go in the first 2 rounds, maybe in the early third. I thought he was talented, but Jartavius Martin, Quan Martin, he was a guy who really fit there as well. I think he's a good pick here in the 3rd round.
Okay, and best available player. There's one player that jumps out at me. I don't know if you like him, but I'm a big fan of his. Izzy, Israel Aben. I can't even say this guy's Abanikanda. And what I like about him is he's about 210. So he's not the skinniest guy or skinniest running back, but he's got some Mostert type explosive ability, at least in my eyes when I watch him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I want to see first if my guy Wanya Morris is still here.
Oh yeah,
at right tackle, Morris. Offensive tackle.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Oh wow.
But that does mean there's another guy on the board, and I don't want to lose him here. And that's Nick Salvidieri.
I like Nick Salvidieri from Old Dominion. We picked him yesterday.
I think he could be a solid guy here. Yeah, let's take him here at 124.
Yeah, we picked him yesterday. We actually picked him yesterday. Well, first we picked Zach Kuntz, and then after that we picked Saldivari. So we had back-to-back Old Dominion picks. So best available right now, who do we got available? Zach Evans, running back from Mississippi. Local guys. Oh, oops, they're picking players now. My bad. Thought it was just.
But there's a couple of solid players there.
Okay, here we go. Should stop. Yeah, the picks were still going. Here we go. Luke Schumacher from tight end from Michigan. Best available right now. Parker Washington, wide receiver from Penn State. Let's see if any names jump out at me. Some of these names I don't recognize, actually. Yasser Abdullah. Oh, you like Voorhees?
Yeah.
Interior offensive lineman from USC.
He's a menace, man. That guy, I think he tore his ACL, maybe. He's undraftable because he tore his ACL, but he benched like 40 at the combine.
Oh, wow. Is he a center or a guard?
He's a guard. I think he has center versatility, though.
Okay. Is that who you want to take at this point in time?
I don't think so because of the torn ACL. Won't say that, but I think I want to go and see the tight end position here.
Let's do that. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Okay. Schumacher, obviously, I recognize from Michigan. Wiley, I've heard about.
Wiley is good.
Him.
Yeah.
Will Mallory, I'm definitely familiar with Miami.
I think here is where I think I'll go with Josh Wiley. 168. So the value here seems good according to the board.
What type of tight end is he?
Good tight end.
What type of tight end is he?
He's a guy who you could see as a guy who could fill multiple roles. Josh Wiley, he's a guy I think NFL teams might be higher on him than maybe the NFL or than what do you call us? The media. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think the NFL teams might be a little higher on him. He's a solid athlete, but overall, he's a good guy in the passing game. He has good ball skills. He has good body control. He, excuse me, good route runner, and I think that that's pretty solid as well. And the other thing is he's strong, which is going to benefit him in the
Oh,
run
for
game.
blocking. Yeah.
And I think that that kind of, I mean, he's got to improve more as a blocker, but I think that those skills of his will help him as a blocker.
There you go. All right. So best available right now for pick 173. The Marvion Overshawn linebacker, Kenny McIntosh running back. Voorhees is still available. Dorian Williams linebacker. See, Yasser Abdullah linebacker. I recognize him. Keaton Mitchell, I hear he's a pretty speedy running back. I haven't watched him. Deuce Vaughn, I have watched. Little tiny running back.
Yeah,
Explosive though.
he's nice.
Yeah.
He's small, but he's nice.
He's fun to watch, but I don't think he'll be much in the blocking game. That's for sure.
I got to
Probably like
tell you,
160. Mm-hmm.
from a value standpoint here, Charlie Jones is really nice at
Mm-hmm.
173.
Okay.
Charlie Jones is a very, very talented receiver. I don't know if I can go receiver again after
Because we
picking
already got
Jonathan Mingo,
Mingo. Yeah. It wouldn't
but
make
I do want to
sense.
see the remaining of the board. So
Oh
we've
yeah.
selected a tackle, we've selected a tight end, we've selected what else have we selected so far?
Well, what? So we've selected corner, wide receiver, safety, tackle, and tight end.
Let's look at a quarterback here, maybe.
Quarterback,
If a guy that
QB,
we like is on the board, and it seems like, ooh, I was looking
Stetson
for Dorian
Bennett.
Thompson Robinson, but it seems like he is
He's
off the board
gone.
here, which means we can wait because I'm not too
Oh,
high
you
on the
know
rest of
what?
the quarterbacks.
Clayton Tune, and Jake Hader are available. They're at the
Oh,
top of
Hayner's
this.
available.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. I think I'll try and wait till 180. If 180
Okay.
Hayner's there, I think I select Jake
He'll
Hayner
probably be
there
available there. He'll probably be available there.
because there are
So
two. There's a quarterback on top of him here. Let's look at a D lineman here. Let's look at the edge rushers maybe.
Edge. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, Edge is really important.
Viami
Fahoko is still
Fehoko is
available.
there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about the other two guys. Never heard about these guys. Fahoko, I recognize. Local
All
guy from
right, in
San
the
Jose
last
State.
position before I make my decision, let's look at D line itself. And if there's a
Yep.
guy who I like, I think that I'll go ahead and make the pick. But seems like a good amount of the depth is gone.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm gonna go with the Viami Fehoko here.
Yeah, Fahoko to me is a name that really stands out in terms of who's available in the edges. From San Jose State, he even plays high school ball locally in the Bay Area. So met up with the 49ers multiple times. And we'll just reject the trade offers, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we'll do
okay.
that.
We'll
Okay.
keep our 180 and
Got
let's
it.
look at the quarterback. And if Jake
QB.
Hayner's here,
Hayner's still there.
let's take him.
We're going to take Jake Hayner from Fresno State, the son of Julie Hayner from Channel 2 Fox News. So there you go.
I did not know
And
that. That's
well, I didn't know it until I didn't know who he was until Ted from TED Talks Ball brought him up, and then he said Hayner, and right away I thought of Julie Hayner, and he said, "Yeah, that's his mom." I was like, "Oh, okay, there you go."
Ooh, Trey Tucker. Ah, man, Trey Tucker's gone. I
Oh, you
like
gotta
him.
take it. Yeah, it always sucks when your player you like is gone. And we have
There are
a
a
few
couple
more.
of interesting
Yeah,
names here, though. A couple of interesting names. I see some safeties that I like. One thing I do want to see because
these are
it's
the
an
safeties
interesting
right here that are
position.
still available.
Yeah, Rashad Torrance, Jay Ward, both are solid.
Trey
Let's look at
Dean,
the
I've heard a
kicker
lot about.
position though, because I did see Moody gone. I want to see if one of the
Kicker,
top guys is
yeah,
still
Chad
there.
Ryland
Chad
from
Ryland's
Maryland.
there. I think we can
Yep.
wait. What pick are
Two.
we at right now?
Yeah, we could definitely wait because we're at 216.
Yeah, we could wait a little bit maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
I see some good safeties. I see an edge rusher here, and
Brendan
we took
Cox.
Fehoko, but I do think that we could take another edge rusher, corner, or safety. I think we go best player available here. This is a tough one.
They're
All right.
suggesting us Ventrell Miller from linebacker from Florida. That's what they're
Oh, I haven't checked
suggesting.
linebackers. Yeah, let's
All
look at
right, let's see.
linebackers because there's
Yeah,
some
let's
good
look at
ones.
linebacker. Cam Jones
My
is still
guy,
available. D Winners.
my guy here is Marte Mapu. He's a guy who I normally look for. If he is still available, I'd like him. But
He might be
seems like he
gone.
is gone. Yeah, he might be gone,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he looks like he's
rightfully
gone.
so. Rightfully so.
What school is he from?
Sacramento State.
Oh, okay. I have heard about him. We saw him available yesterday, but we took he was available towards the end actually. We took him D Winners instead. What's his first name again? How do you say his first name?
Marte.
There you go.
Doesn't seem
Yeah,
like
I
he's
do remember.
available
Yeah, he's
here, though.
gone. He's gone. Yeah, I remember seeing his name yesterday. But we took the D Winners from TCU instead.
I think here I'm gonna go with either the safety or the edge. That's I think where I'm leaning
Okay, so
toward.
said the best safety on their board is Jay Ward. Um,
I'm leaning
and
towards Rashad Torrance, or if they got good edge rushers,
here's
Brenton
available. Who's on the
Cox
edge from
or
Florida?
Incoom. Thomas Incoom's interesting as well. You know what? Let's do a wild card and let's go with Thomas Incoom here. I
Okay,
know he's down there a little bit, but I
there you go.
think
Yeah, it's
he's a good
fine.
player from
At this
Central
point in time,
Michigan.
yeah. When you get to these lower rounds, it's almost like and best player available is cool, but it's almost like who you like too, And if that guy's there, why not get him? So best
All right.
available right now, and we are picking at 222 overall. Robert Beal, edge is available. D Winters, the linebacker I had mentioned, is
John
available.
Gaines is available.
It's here offensive lineman. Is he a setter or a guard?
He's a guard, but I like
Okay, go.
him,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think we'll select him here.
Okay, there you go. I named my saw available right after that was Demario Douglas and that wide receiver
Mario
from
Douglas is
Stanford.
interesting. Actually,
Yeah,
it's okay. We selected him. Demario Douglas is still available. We'll go
he
with
should be.
Demario Douglas.
He should be. Let me go wide receivers. These are the best wide receivers
Ooh, Payne
available.
Durham just went too. He's a good
Douglas is
tight end.
available. Douglas is available. You want to get him?
Let's get him.
Okay, and just for the sake of looking at the wide receivers, these are the other ones
Jaden
available.
Hasselwood is good, but let's get let's get Demario
I
Douglas.
heard a lot of really, really good things about Douglas. Just like they call him the human joystick, and
Yeah, he's a fun one. He was a fun watch for Liberty.
Mhm.
All right. At this point, Jackson Kirkland is still pretty solid. Let's see the kicker situation. If the kicker
Oh
is
yeah,
still there, because
I was
we
trying
need
to
a
show you the best
kicker.
available kickers. Chad Ryland from Maryland is still available.
Is this our second to last pick or is this our last pick?
This is our second to last pick.
Okay, let's go ahead and take Chad Ryland here.
There you go. We got Chad Ryland. All right,
And then
and
with that last pick, let's go to
Trey
corner and
Dean.
let's take Rajon. Oh, actually, no. Screw that. Payne Durham is still available. And I think
Okay,
that tight end, I want two tight ends in this class. So let's go with him.
yeah, definitely. We do need, in my opinion, that's a good one because I'm not thrilled with bringing Dwelly back, and more competition is the merrier, in my opinion, at that position. So it doesn't give you an overall score on this draft, but you can kind of figure it out in your head. And the first three picks he actually gave us A pluses. First pick was Eli Ricks, cornerback from Alabama. Second pick we had was Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Mississippi. Jartavius Martin, safety from Illinois. Right after that pick, 124. Nick Saldiveri, tackle from Old Dominion. They gave us a B. Josh Wiley, tight end from Cincinnati. Viliami Fahoko. I've also seen him listed as Junior Fahoko. Not sure what he wants to
Junior
go by.
Fehoko is, I think, its nickname. Yeah.
Yeah, so Edge from San Jose State, local guy. Another local guy, Jake Hayner, B quarterback from Fresno State. Thomas Incoom, another edge. In my opinion, I'm perfectly fine with drafting more than one pass rusher because the old school rule is you can never have enough pass rushers. So that's fine. John Gaines, interior offensive lineman from UCLA at pick 222. Demario Douglas, a flashy, sexy type of pick from wide receiver from Liberty. They gave us a C plus, but I don't really care about that. If you see the guy you like, you get him. That's how I look at it. Chad Ryland, kicker from Maryland, B plus, and Payne Durham, tight end from Purdue. And let me know what you like about the tight end, Payne Durham. Have you watched him at all and scouted him?
He's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
He's very consistent. I actually have watched him more than others because he was a Big Ten guy, and I've watched a good amount of Big Ten football. But yeah, he's very consistent, and he's not an athlete too much. He's not a guy who'll get you yards after the catch, but he's got a good catch radius. He's very capable with his hands, and I think that he's just another threat that you could have in the passing game. And you talked about Ross Dwelly, right? And looking to replace a guy like Ross Dwelly. Payne Durham has the capability to do that and be better than Ross Dwelly. And I think
There you
that,
go.
with his pass catching ability, I think that that's valuable. We drafted a guy who's got good strength. Durham even has the ability to be a run blocker. I think he needs to add more strength. Wiley has it, but he's got a little bit of technique than Wiley maybe in the running game. And so that's where I think that he's a good player.
Cool. Before we start the next mock draft, I just want to see because I always have to have my other chat window open, so I a lot of times I miss any comments or anybody new that jumped in the chat. So just in case I miss it, see Eric Wally's here. Say what's up, bro? How you doing? Says some happy Friday. Appreciate you. And not too much going on in the chat that I really missed, but it's always good to double check. And we're gonna start our next mock draft. We're gonna go with
We
the
can go
fast
fast
speed.
for this one
Yeah,
because
we'll go with the fast speed. That's fine.
no trades. And I'll let you take the lead on this one, Beto, or not Beto, but Bashar.
It's just, what's funny? Aaron's called me Beto. Yesterday, Brandon from our Faithful Podcast, he called me Beto. So, hey, I'll take it. Beto's an awesome guy. He's in the chat.
The
And
problem is I'm reading the chat as you read the chat, and so the first one that I see is Beto's comment, and I said
yeah,
Beto instead of Bashar.
hey, no problem, man. Hey, it's not a problem. It's funny. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go fast speed on this one, and into the draft room. Here we go. All right. So I hadn't started yet. It was funny yesterday. Before I hit the start button, I was like, "Whoa, why is Bryce Young still available?" I was like, "Duh, I didn't hit the start button."
Hey, we
yet.
taking Bryce Young at 99, huh?
Okay, so they're going through the little draft process. Other teams are picking. All the players we want are gone. It's usually how it is. Sam Laporta is going to be gone. There he is. His
I
name's
saw
right there.
Bergeron gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to take. Well, Porta just got.
Gone.
It just took him. They just took Laporta. Laporta's
Tucker
kind of like
Kraft is
a poor man's Kittle, kind of like, right?
Yeah, he's a good player.
That and best tight. And let's look at tight ends really quick. I'm curious. Tucker Kraft. Heard a lot about him. I just haven't watched him. But Zach Kuntz is gone. He's long gone. So none of my crush tight ends are really available. This is best available. Tucker Kraft, Jordan Battle, safety from Alabama, Tyreek Stevenson, corner from Miami, Sidney Brown, safety from Illinois.
Sidney Brown is good. Yeah,
I have heard a lot about him. I was hoping to see a nice edge or tackle pop. Zach Harrison is a name that I keep hearing a lot of really good things about. My boy John V really sticks his neck out for him. He's compares him to a Bosa type player, or says he's built like Myles Garrett. The only thing about Zach Harrison, now I didn't sit and watch him throughout his college career, but just glancing at his college stats, I didn't see high sack numbers. Maybe he makes up for it with pressures. Did you watch a lot of them?
Who, Zach Harrison?
Yeah, Zach Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends, because when you talk about college film, right, it's tough. Production is never the thing people look at when you talk about college film, because obviously it's a lot of it normally goes down to scheme and also the way that they're played. You've just got to look at the traits, in my opinion, and see, can that translate to the next level. He's got good arms. I think he's got long arms. He's got good size for his position, and he's a solid run blocker. Obviously, I think that he might be he might be a stronger run blocker than maybe a better pass rusher, but he's got, or I mean, I think he's pretty solid in the pass rush. I think that you've got a player that is pretty solid in both categories, but also really good traits. Arm length is the thing that really steps out, and I think that's the reason he might get drafted a little higher with 36-inch arms. I think that's something that teams really look for.
Yeah, I'd like to go for him at 99 overall. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it.
So, yeah, Zach Harrison is the pick at 99 overall. So, who else we got here? We got Jordan Battle, safety. Anybody you want to take it at this point in time? I know you mentioned Sidney Brown.
Yeah, Sidney Brown's good. I'll say that. Yeah. Sidney Brown is definitely good. He's a top safety in this class for sure.
Let's go with Sidney Brown. Yeah, because Tyshawn Gibson isn't getting any younger. We need somebody younger in the mix to learn from Wilkes and Gibson, and totally for that, getting another safety in the mix. So
any tackles available or not?
Yeah,
really?
Steen's available. Tyler Steen's available. It wouldn't be a good time. I think it'd be a pretty good time to go for him right now. Or who do you like better, Steen or Morris?
Me personally, I like Morris, Steen. But I wouldn't mind both. I think both are available for being a right tackle. I wouldn't mind taking either here.
Okay, so maybe I'm thinking
we can. With the last one, we can take Steen here if you want.
I'm thinking we can get Morris at 155. I'm thinking.
Yeah, we could. We could try for it.
Yeah, because let's see who's still. Mingo's still available. If you want to go that route, Darius Rush, cornerback, Tyreek Stevenson. Do any of these cornerbacks jump out at you?
Yeah, both of them jump out. Both of them are good. Rush is good. I know he's met with the 49ers, I believe. Stevenson's solid as well.
Are these guys you take over Mingo? Are these?
Depends on positional value. Which one you value more, obviously, with the 49ers situation.
Yeah. Jamie Brown's still available. Let's take Mingo again. I like Mingo. I'm just a big Mingo guy. So let's take him.
Let's do it.
And let's see if Morris is available. So we're gambling. A lot of times when you do these mock drafts, you take a lot of gambles. And if Morris is still, Steen's gone. So, whoa, maybe Wanya Morris is gone too. That's kind of scary. Let's see. Oh, Morris is gone. Okay. So we learned the hard way. So okay, so we might have to just go with Saldivari in this one then. Yeah, Saldivari is still available. Okay, so I guess it's not going to take any chances sometimes when it comes to offensive linemen. That's why I noticed with this draft that
Yep.
we have offensive
They
linemen still
always will
available.
likely go higher than you anticipate.
And their suggestion is Jarrett Patterson for interior offensive line. I believe he's their center.
Yeah, he's solid. He played center
Emil,
this year.
yeah,
I know
go ahead.
that. Yeah,
Emil
he's solid. He played center
Akior
this
from
year.
Alabama as well. What do you think about Kobe Turner? I've watched a bit of his film as a D lineman. Would you see him as somebody the 49ers would take, or do you like his film?
5th round. I could see it in the 5th round. Yeah, I could see it. I think they've met with him, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he'd be a solid player.
Okay, so since we lost out on Morris, I just think we can't take any more chances at tackle, and I still like Saldivari at this pick, so I'm okay with taking Saldivari. So let's do that. Let's get Saldivari there. So the next pick, you do the next one, all right? It's all you. So Yaya Diaby is a player I've definitely heard of. I believe the 49ers met with him as an edge from Louisville. Quarterback Corey Trice from Purdue. Emil Ikior, interior offensive lineman. They're suggesting him. Jacorian Bennett, cornerback from Maryland.
Bennett, solid, yeah.
Yeah. Who's the name that really jumps out at you as far as available right now that you totally get?
Jacorian Bennett, solid. Let's look at tight ends.
Tight ends, yeah, that's a good one. Wiley's still available. Brenton Strange, Cameron Latou, Will Mallory.
Yeah, I see a lot of good names there. So I think it's good to stay off of. Maybe let's look at corner here.
Corner, we got cornerback. Corey Trice from Purdue, Jacorian Bennett, Mickey Garner, Starling Thomas. I definitely recognize that guy.
I think here, understanding where we are, I think Jacorian Bennett would be a solid pick.
Okay, so let's do that. Jacorian Bennett from Maryland. There you go. You know how you know his vital stats by any chance, or?
He's a fast guy. He's what the 49ers look for in a quarter.
Okay.
I think he ran a 4.27 at the combine.
Oh,
he's
wow.
fast.
Okay.
He's 6'1", solid frame, fast guy. They look for athletes that they can mold into to good corners. I think that's a guy like him.
There you go. Yeah, 6'1", 4.27 is not something you find too often. So we got Kenny McIntosh, best player available on their board, running back from. They didn't watch this guy, so he's one of the running backs I did not watch. Jared Patterson is still available. I think that's pretty good value at that pick, huh? At 140, interior offensive lineman. We got Colby Wooden, who I'm not familiar with. Brenton Strange, Wiley, the tight end's available. Over at 173. I think that's a pretty good value.
We can go with tight end here. Understanding we have a 40 pick drop off. If you value the tight end position at this point, you can definitely go with one.
Okay, so do you like Wiley better than Strange? Because they're suggesting Strange over Wiley.
I'd go with Wiley. Okay. I think both are solid though.
They gave us an A+ on that pick, and even on the Jacorian Bennett pick, they gave us an A+, so that's cool. Mingo, they gave us A+ as well as Sidney Brown. So, all right, so the next pick is pick number 216 overall, and look who's available. Bingo, Fehoko. I think this is kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, he's easily the best edge available in my opinion.
Go for it.
Yeah, so it looks like, and Jay, let's just see who's available currently. Because I definitely like to get an edge at this pick, and we did get an edge of Zach Harrison, but again, my old-fashioned rule that they always say throughout the draft is you can never have enough pass rushers. So, Fehoko, local guy from San Jose State, pick 222 is the next pick, and who's available? Ventrell Miller is who they're suggesting as far as the best linebacker. As far as the linebackers currently available, Marty Mapu should be available.
Yeah, Mapu's here. That's interesting.
Do you like Mapu better than Ventrell Miller and Sir Voikia Dennis, who they're suggesting?
I think he's a good scheme fit. Yeah, I definitely think he's a good scheme fit because he's one of those safety converted linebackers.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
He's got good. He's got good athleticism for the position. A little undersized, but he's got good lateral speed going sideline to sideline, and I think he's a good hitter too. So that's why I like him.
So let's go with Mapu because I remember we tried to get him last time and we weren't able to get him. So good to get another local guy. And you said he's a scheme fit, and definitely, like you said, some of our linebackers are converted strong safeties. So it sounds like he'd totally fit our defense. And next available pick is 247. So Bryce Ford Wheaton, wide receiver from West Virginia, is their suggestion. Raheem Jarrett at wide receiver, DJ Johnson, an edge from Oregon. Puka Nakua, wide receiver from BYU. We picked him yesterday. Mekhi Blackman, cornerback from USC. Trey Dean, safety from Florida. I definitely recognize him. And any position groups you want me to pull up at this point in the draft? Because we're at 247. Hunter Lupke, I
I
see
think
him way down there.
you try and go best player available. Rajon
Hmm.
Wright from a corner was a guy who I just saw there. But at this point, what position have we not addressed?
So we
We've
got
gone with the corner,
linebacker.
we've gone with the offensive lineman, we've gone with the edge, tight end, we've gone with a good amount. We've definitely gone with a good amount.
So at this point in time, I think it's okay to stack positions, assuming you got somebody drastically better than the next guy, or you're somebody that you really like. You know.
Yeah. So let's look at the positions. Let's see who we can get. Um, let's look at maybe another D lineman
There you go.
if
You read
we
my
have
mind.
that.
So the only guy I recognize is Jonah Tavai. Cameron Young's available. Nesta Jade Silvera from Arizona State's the highest guy available. Jacob Slade, I think, might be somebody I've looked up. I think he's a bigger, heavier D tackle, if I'm not mistaken.
PJ Mustipher is a guy who I know. He's an all right guy. Probably goes around this place. I don't know if the 49ers would want him, given that he's not that great of an athlete.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I'm not too into. Deshaun Johnson was there, but let's see. Let's look at another position here.
Okay.
Let's look at corner. Because I know
Quarterback.
the 49ers, you might want to stack corner here. Like I
Yeah.
said, Rajon Wright was a solid player. You might want to go with him here.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's go with Rajon Wright. He's your best guy on the corners right now, right?
Yeah,
Oregon
let's go
State.
with him.
There you go. Cool. Anything in particular you like about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy I think the 49ers have met with.
Okay.
I believe he was at their local pro day from Oregon State. I know they've met with him. I might have been at the combine or somewhere. I forget exactly where they met with him, but he was another guy. And they obviously met with him at the local pro day. So I think, I mean, first of all, the connection to the team is there, which is good, and I think that he's another solid corner for the for the what do you call it for this draft. I think we
Okay.
drafted Jacorian Bennett in this one. And I think
We
Rajon
did.
Wright definitely goes earlier in this class. He's a guy who can play on the outside, solid size at 6'2". I think he's around 190 maybe. Um, his arms are all right. I think he can play inside or outside. And he can play in man. And we play that press man scheme. I mean, we incorporate a good amount of zone as well, but you might incorporate more man with Steve Wilkes. And so we'll see what we can do. He had a pretty solid year. I think he had 8 PBUs in 20. I forget exactly what year it was. 22, I think that he
Hmm.
had, or 22 or 21. It was, and then he had a similar year this past year. But he's got good length for the position, got good height for the position, solid speed for the position as well. I think he's a pretty solid player.
There you go. Okay, cool. And as far as best available at pick 253, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this guy. We picked him yesterday. Puka Nakua, if I'm saying his name right. Mikey Blackman still available, cornerback from USC. Tavion Thomas, I believe, is who they're suggesting right here. Running back from Utah. I didn't really watch him. Trey Dean, the third, safety from Florida. A lot of people like him. And another
We
running back,
drafted
Deneric
a running back.
Price.
Yeah,
Deneric Prince,
maybe
that
let's look
is.
at the running backs.
Yeah, let's look at running backs. As long as it's not in the third round, I believe 49ers will be okay with us drafting one right now.
Hunter Luepke's interesting because
Hunter Luepke.
he's
Yeah.
that fullback converted guy. Cameron
North Dakota
Peoples, I
State.
think is pretty solid. Yeah.
Now I know he's a fullback, and I've watched some of his film, not too much. Would you believe that he could be like a Mike Allstott type runner, or he wouldn't be able to be? He'd be more like a use check.
No, I think he could be versatile if that's your asking. I think
Mm-hmm.
he could definitely be versatile. If you're looking for a running back though, a guy who I'd probably look at is Cameron Peoples. I think Cam
There he
Peoples
is
here
from
is
Appalachian
I
State.
think yeah, I think he's an interesting guy here. I think he's a guy who you draft around the seventh round here.
Okay.
He's a little slower, but he's played in a wide zone scheme. He's I don't know his 40 time off the top of my head, but it's not too great. But he's a power guy. He's definitely got good power, and I think that if you put him in this scheme, try and make him a one cut runner. I think that's something that he could work with, which might make him faster than his 40 time indicates.
And did you hear any things about how they're saying they might change our run scheme to more of a power type scheme more so than a zone scheme? Did you ever hear that? I heard
I
people
don't
bring
know.
that up.
I know a lot of people insinuated that when they drafted Trey Lance. I think that they can incorporate those concepts, but I do think that I think that it's going to still be a very variable running scheme where you have a lot of counter, you have a lot of power, you have a lot of the zone stuff, and I think that you incorporate. I think some of that comes with you understanding you're going to be, they're probably going to be operating out of the shotgun a solid amount if Lance
True.
is the quarterback, understanding that you're going to be in a zone read type of scheme. So I think that
Hmm.
there's a lot that can be incorporated for sure.
And as far as his vital stats go, they say in 6'1", 217 from Appalachian State. 4'6" was his 40 time. I just had it pulled up. Here we go. Oh, 4'6", 140. So not a fast guy, but they gave him a high rating in terms of a runner who can break tackles. This is according to NFLDraftBuzz.com. Awesome website. That's one of my tools that I use. So yeah, we'll definitely well, since you're high on him, we'll definitely take him. It'd be nice to have a power runner. I'm a big fan of power runners and running backs in general. So we're gonna go with the final pick overall. And if you were curious about kickers, really quick, Chad Ryland is still available if you're a fan of his. And the best available, they got Puka Nakua, Mickey Blackman, Tavion Thomas, Trey Dean, safety.
Who are
Ronnie
you
Bell,
thinking
wide
here?
receiver.
Who do you want to select?
Who would I take? So since we got Gonzalez, I'm okay with getting a UDFA kicker. I really am.
Okay.
So for me, who I would take, since we already got wide receiver, I'm fine with that. I'm leaning towards Mickey Blackman or Trey Dean, somebody in the secondary.
Yeah.
And
What am I doing?
yeah, so I'm gonna go with Blackman, cornerback Blackman. I
Okay.
think it's always good to
Yeah.
have cornerback depth, and Wilkes is in the mix, and so yeah, so it won't give us an overall grade, but we can go ahead and recap all the picks really, really quick. So pick 99 was Zach Harrison from Edge from Ohio State. A lot of people are high on him. 101 was Sidney Brown, safety from Illinois. 102, the sexy pick, Jonathan Mingo, my guy. The poor, I kind of call him a poor man's AJ Brown. Keep in mind, poor man's. All right. 155, Nick Saldiveri, tackle from Old Dominion. 164, Jacorian Bennett, quarterback from Maryland. 173, Josh Wiley, tight end from Cincinnati. We definitely have to up our tight end game, so that will definitely help. 216, Viliami or Junior Fahoko, as some people say, Edge from San Jose State, local kid. Another local guy, 222, Marte Mapu, linebacker from Sacramento State. 247, Rajon Wright, cornerback from Oregon State. 253, Cameron Peoples, running back, your power runner type from Appalachian State. And then the final pick that we picked at 255, Mekhi Blackman, cornerback from USC. So that concludes our mock drafts. And as always, it's always a lot of fun. And I just want to say what's up to some people in the chat. I know I feel bad for you guys. I'm aware of what's going on in the chat because I have my browser open to look at you guys and watch you guys when I'm running the mock drafts. I have a separate, actually I have multiple browser tabs open and I can't really focus on you guys, but see Jason's in the house. Good to see you, Jason. I see you, bro. Says, how's it going, Beto? And he's just saying what's up to everybody in the chat. Good to see him here. Good guy. Definitely familiar with him. And yeah, and as always, it's, this is the time of year where things start to get more fun. Of course, we hit a slump with the boring part of the off season, and then when the boring part of the off season comes around, it's trade rumor this, trade rumor that, rumor this, rumor that, and when people don't have much to write about, rumors pop up, but leading into the draft, there's plenty of fun with the mock drafts and who we might take or who we won't take, and we're almost there, man. Draft time's coming up.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's what, like just a little under 2 weeks away now. And I know we still don't have a pick until day three, but I think that this year is going to be different than last year. At least I hope. Last year the 49ers didn't make a single move, drafted 10 players, solid draft class. Obviously, we have to see overall what the rewards will end up being over time. But this year you have 11 picks, but you have a lot of picks that are right next to each other. I anticipate at least in the third round, the 49ers have some movement. I don't anticipate them selecting at 99, 101, and 102. I think there's some movement, be it up or down the board, depending on how the board shapes out. And so I'm excited for this draft. I am.
And I know you called me Beto earlier, so Beto responded. He says it would be an honor to be called Bashar. I don't know if he's being sarcastic, but hey, I appreciate it. I take it, man. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are assuming that in this draft, the 49ers aren't going to draft 11 players. And hopefully, if that's the case, they do trade up and get a bigger name type guy who they think has a chance to become a day one starter. That would be awesome. I'm perfectly fine with that. With the roster we have, I mean, does it really make sense to draft 11 picks? And the cool thing is that even though we made that, sure, we traded for Trey Lance and we missed out on some first rounders, and we made that CMC trade we still have 11 picks in this draft with this amazing roster that we have. So that's definitely a luxury, and it's gonna be plenty to look forward to once we do make those picks.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think it'll be, definitely a draft where they I don't know if they're going to target positions necessarily, but I think that they'll have a certain board coming into mind. But I also think that BPA should be a good amount of their approach, if not all of their approach, understanding where they select and what their roster construction currently is.
Totally agree. So do you have anything in the works as far as your YouTube channel goes or with 49ers Web Zone? I know you're doing some stuff with the Wisconsin Badgers as well, right?
Yeah, I do. But on my YouTube channel, do expect to stream either this weekend or early next week. Going to get back on the streaming business as the draft comes along. For 49ers Web Zone, a lot more draft content should be coming on. I know there's been a little bit of a dead period with the news itself, but a lot more draft content should be coming on sooner than later. And I mean, the draft on draft day as well, I do an extensive amount of coverage. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Will be a fun time for sure.
Definitely, definitely. So, as far as my channel goes, expect more mock drafts in these upcoming weeks before the draft, heading up to the draft, because there's some people I contacted that we're going to do some more mock draft shows on, because these mock drafts are always fun for me. Want to say thank you to everybody that chat. The 49er faithful always rips hard in my chat, and you guys always make it fun. Definitely thank you for Rohan for coming on. Had you on before, and I look forward to having you on again in the future.
Hey, my man, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, and I mean, it was a blast. Obviously, doing this with you, and yeah, we'll definitely talk shop soon.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for watching 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Let's go. Go Niners.